including coordinators, I think we could all say, let me get a yes or no answer from you guys. In the SEC East, maybe SEC, but SEC East is what I want to focus on right now. Josh Heupel's the best offensive coach, yes or no, in the SEC East, including coordinators, Sean?
Yes.
Okay. Caleb?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Who is the second best offensive coach to Josh Heupel in the SEC East, including coordinators, as we look back over the weekend? And is it even close? John, let me begin with you. The offenses in the SEC just don't look, SEC East don't look fantastic, other than maybe Georgia, just because I think they have better talent than everybody. But your thoughts on the status of offenses in the SEC East? They ain't real good.
Aside from South Carolina, which really impressed me against North Carolina, giving up 9 sacks, unable to run the ball, general disarray. And that's why I'm encouraging Spencer Rattler to leave right now. I may start a movement. I'm trying to get in touch with him as we speak. He's got to start going for the NFL and forget playing behind this offensive line. No way he lasts a season as quarterback behind that offensive line. So offensive coordinators, I would probably go with Kentucky's. What's his name? Liam Cohen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So he one of the Cohen brothers.
He is.
I like their movies. Yeah, I like their movies. And I say that because I didn't watch much of Kentucky. He does have a nice resume. I don't know about Mike Bobo. He's okay. He would probably be next. Nobody in Heupel's class. You got to go to the West to find some offensive coordinators.
Well, I'm going
to wait. I forgot Billy Napier.
Oh, yeah. God forbid we leave him out.
Oh, yeah. He's got it all going on there at Florida.
Yeah.
He doesn't need some first-round draft pick at quarterback to make things happen back there.
You weren't at SEC Media Days 2 years ago, but it was constant. He's detail-oriented. For what? I mean, does he have a library and he uses the Dewey Decimal System? Because he's not detail-oriented when it comes to NIL or football.
He counts out the pellets he feeds his dog each day. I mean, what? No, I mean, they have 2 number 3s running around on punt coverage. How does that even happen?
That was bizarre. And I want to get into that a little bit more. But Caleb, I know that you like the Liam at Kentucky. So is he the second best offensive coach in the SEC East?
Yeah, I'm with John. He is, but I'm going to be a little bolder. John, I know you mentioned Mike Bobo. I know about him. He's horrible. He's terrible. And Tennessee fans should celebrate the fact that I think Liam Cohen is the only other offensive coordinator with brain cells in the SEC East right now.
You know, I don't like to be critical of hosts when I'm on a show, but Caleb really needs to be more opinionated. I always get the feeling with him that he's holding something back.
That's right. Today's tough question is brought to you by. We're going to open it up to the entire SEC next.
I would trust Butch Jones coaching offense over Mike Bobo there.
Oh man! By the way,
you need a timeout, Caleb.
Wow,
Butch Jones was crying Saturday
and throwing his players under the bus.
It was the crying game.
Yeah, he was crying about his impending decision to throw all of his players under the bus, which he did after the game. Today's tough question brought to you by Zen Sports, the new sports book in Tennessee, revolutionizing the way you earn sports betting rewards. That means no more deposit bonuses that turn into deposit nightmares. On Zen Sports, what you see is what you get. And with their cash rewards program, you get a lot of cash. For a welcome bonus, earn an unlimited 5% cash back on your betting volume for your first 15 days when you sign up with the promo code HOOKED. That's HOOKED. That's right, unlimited 5% cash back. Keep betting, keep earning with up to 3% cash back on your betting volume every month after that. Refer friends to earn a percentage of their betting volume as cash rewards too. Zen Sports bringing the cash back to Tennessee. So if you bet big on sports, you want to be betting on Zen Sports. Zen Sports betting just got bet or use the promo code HOOKED. All right, let me open it up to the entire SEC. Is Josh Heupel still number one, John, as an offensive coach? And if I open it up to the West, who's two?
Yeah, Josh Heupel's still number one. I go back to the his first season at Tennessee when he averaged almost 40 points per game with a very limited offensive depth chart. I thought that was amazing what he did with that team. Of course, last year he led the country in scoring and yards per game. Number two, there's some good ones over there. Hugh Freeze is really good, but I got to go with Mr. Personality, Bobby Petrino. I mean, he's not just a highly likable guy. He really knows offense, and he's the quarterback's best friend. A&M looked like a completely different team with him at calling the shots, and so did Connor Wigman, the quarterback. The highlight of the weekend for me was when there was a substitution issue with A&M's offense, and they flashed to Bobby Petrino in the press box, and he leaned so far back in his seat, I thought he was going to fall over, and then he threw his pen behind him. He was that upset, even though the team was ahead 35-7. We talk about Billy Napier with details. Bobby Petrino is really detail-oriented as an offensive coach. You have to do things the right way with him, or he will be in your face, and he likes getting in your face.
Yes, especially if you're good looking and you're young and you're female and work in his recruiting department.
Cheap shot.
Cheap shot.
Cheap shot. Come on, David. Everybody's got some skeletons in their closet. They've got a past. Nobody's
and perfect. Some have some interns in their closet.
Caleb, I would probably differ with John a little bit. I would go Lane Kiffin if you opened it up as far as second. But I do like what he said about Bobby Petrino, and you and I have talked about him. I think he rights the ship to some degree, and probably is a bad thing for A&M because it keeps Jimbo Fisher around a lot. But who do you think is the second best coach before we get into how far is the drop-off from Josh Heupel as an offensive coach?
Well, I mean, I trust Bobby Petrino as an offensive coach, but I got to see him against better competition because I still wonder if the game has somewhat passed him by a little bit. He and Jimbo Fisher both are very much, we don't give the quarterback any leeway. It's our offense and we call the plays for them. Very stuck in almost like a Cam Cameron 2012 way of thinking, I feel like. So I still got to see more from that. John, you mentioned him. I'm kind of where I'm leaning towards Hugh Freeze. I know it's not a popular thing to say. I'm still high on Mike Denbrock, the LSU offensive coordinator, after what happened over the weekend. I think that might have been a little bit of a fluke blip in the radar, but I think it's Mike Denbrock or Hugh Freeze or Lane Kiffin. I think it's one of those three, but I'll probably go Hugh Freeze.
Whoa,
I can see. Go ahead, John.
I just hit. Caleb caught me off guard with that one. LSU better get a quarterback who can see the whole field and throw the ball over the middle.
Well, they need a receiver who can catch the ball, to be fair. They had how many drops in that game?
Yeah, but you watch, I mean, some of those play calls were ridiculous, or either, I mean, they're got 3rd and 22 or whatever, and they're throwing a 10-yard out, which Jaden Daniels is really good on, but I'm off his bandwagon. I say bring on Garrett Nussmeier.
Okay, so look.
Like he's a better passer.
Yeah, okay, so how far is the drop off? Okay, so if Josh Heupel is a 10, how far is the drop off to whoever you guys think is the next guy? I would go Lane Kiffin, and I would say an 8, for instance. That's me personally. How far is the drop off for you guys in number 2?
I think those guys, you've got several really good coordinators in the West, and Coach Brian Kelly's had a pretty good offensive track record. I don't put him in there with those guys, but I guess 8 or 9 would be what I'm saying for those guys. And I think what's impressed me about Petrino the most is probably he's won with a lot of different quarterbacks. And I agree with Caleb that Jimbo Fisher, his offense was good 13 years ago or 10 years ago, but the offenses have passed him by. I don't think they passed Bobby Petrino by.
No. Caleb, same question for you, and then I'm gonna hone it down back to the SEC East.
I'll still go 9 with Hugh Freeze, because as low as I think of Hugh Freeze the person, I will say I can't ignore his track record at Ole Miss.
Okay, so I hone it down now to the SEC East. If Josh Heupel is a 10, where's the next guy on a scale of 1 to 10? No matter who you think it is.
I would go with Cohen, I guess. I would say maybe a 7.
Okay, Caleb?
I'm right there with John. Cohen's a 7. The question is, what's the next guy rated in the East after Cohen? And I'm going to go like -17.
Yeah, the next guy's a pretty big fall off. And in this day and age of football, wouldn't you rather have a great offensive coach than a great defensive coach? In other words, if you compared Nick Saban's first season at LSU, they had a great defensive coach. Nowadays, I think you want a great offensive coach because some of the changes that they have made.